Okay, good afternoon, everybody. For those of you who weren't here this morning, welcome to our virtual 2018 Committee Week. The next council up is our suspended council. The mission of our suspended council is to educate users and suppliers in the safe and proper use of powered suspended scaffolds, collecting materials from manufacturers, suppliers, consultants, and users. The council works towards reducing accidents through education. Our council is chaired by the one and only Mr. Harold Giddish of Sky Climber and co-chaired by Mr. Jim Boudreau of Tractel. So I will turn it over to them.
Good morning.
Morning.
Well, we haven't done this before, so it's kind of exciting. At the same time, a little for the first time ever, I think.
All right, so our first thing on our agenda is going to talk about the daily checklist. It's a quick thing. We've noticed, we published this a couple of years ago. Originally, this was designed for our actually in-person meetings, so we're going to ask people, hands-on and all that. So we're going to have to modify slightly here. What we found out, we have a lot, I get a lot of calls, and Harold have talked about it too, where we have a resource tab. We're going to discuss it later on in the SIA website. People call up and ask for a daily checklist for swings. This isn't just people from, the industry, from end users. This is people from the industry that come to the meetings. So we were just going to remind people that there is a resource tab. We're going to discuss it a little bit later. The checklist is posted there. It took us quite a while to iron this thing out. So hopefully those that don't know, it's there. You're welcome to it as members. Take a look at it. It's been going, what took 3 years to develop. So just to let you know, it's there for you. All right, Harold, next one.
Yeah, so also just as this is being recorded, so you'll have chances to call in or to type questions in, which Jim will moderate. But if anybody unmutes or becomes unmuted, this is being recorded, just a FYI. So,
Okay, hoist tag review. This has been going on at the committee week for a couple of years now. Originally, one of our plans was that little plastic tab that you see and put it on the plugs. Basically, those are the notes that we ironed out at committee week before. What I did is I went ahead, my original plan was to make 150 stickers, and I was going to have them on all the tables. I'll mail everyone to you. How's that sound? Okay. Now you'll get them in Phoenix. How's that sound? A little bit better. So the idea is the same thing, to warn people before they plug the hoist in and how we got these hoist tags. The notes, they came from every operation manual of Neon Biso, from Tom DeYoung and the B-boys and girls, Tractel, Sky Climber. We took all the notes, ironed them all down, and said basically we put them all in there. So it's a warning for the customer, the end user, not to do what he usually does anyway. So originally it was the same idea as the orange sticker that we have on scaffolding. Before it was a little tag. So what we did is I came up with a little idea. Basically, it's a peel and stick. So basically we just put it on there. You can go out any time there's time of service. Boom, it's on there. It's disposable, quick and cheap. So what we'd like to do is, as a committee here, is to see if people like that idea or have better suggestions. It's to warn the end user of the certain things that you see there. So you can chime in now or wait till the end of it if you like the idea. Again, I will bring the ones that I brought to Phoenix with us. Okay.
So the idea is, you have any questions, if you look on the top upper right-hand side, there is 3 dots, and you can send Jim Boudreau a whole bunch of questions, and he'll be logging them so we can answer them, because it'll be easier than trying to unmute everybody and having kind of chaos. There are, I can't see that screen anymore, but 60 users or 60 people watching, participating. So thank you very much. All right.
And as we work through this, we're going to have a little hiccups and stuff, obviously, but we're going to do the best we can. And if we miss your chat, I have the full presentation printed out. We can, if you look at the bottom right-hand side, there's a slide number. Slide number 3 is what we're on now. If you want to save it till the end, just say, because we're going to ask about the pictures, whether you like these pictures that go with the text. whether the picture conveys the message that we're trying to get across. What we also did is you'll also see a thumbs up and a thumbs down, basically generic. So if the thumbs up agrees, that's fine. If it doesn't, let us know. If you have a better picture to supply, please, that's what we're looking for. It took a long time to get these pictures together. I had to steal a couple off the internet. There's a couple of slides that are copyrighted. That's why this is a draft purpose only. It is not for distribution. Once it's agreed upon and then gets to the oversight committee to review and everybody has this check off, it's welcome to the world. But that's where we're going to go. Okay, Harold, take it from there, sir.
Thank you. So ideally, once again, the codes of safe practices for suspended scaffolds have been around for as long as I can remember. The one we currently have is the longest and most comprehensive version. And we were wondering about, one, how many people really get to use it? And not only that, how many people can comprehend it? It is a concise, everything you need to know about a swing stage in 3 pages. And essentially, it's enough to put you to sleep. If you're competent, you can maybe understand it. This idea was to try and put some pictures against it so that the end user who might not be able to comprehend the details of the codes as they currently are for suspended adjustable, suspended scaffolds could go, and at least there'll be some pictures. So that's the idea. So no question on this slide. And here we go. So these are the guidelines, I think, for suspended scaffolds. I think that's pretty straightforward to understand. I need to move you people out of the way. Okay, guidelines for the erection and should say dismantle of adjustable suspended scaffolds, but it's the codes. And here they are, just showing people what they are. And I think this is the latest one up to date. And as I said, there's 3.5 pages if you haven't looked at them. And then we get into the general guidelines, and here we start. So it starts off by saying, post these safe practices in conspicuous place. Be sure that all persons who erect, use, locate, relocate, or dismantle adjustable suspended scaffolds are fully aware of them, use them in a toolbox meeting, etc. And once again, everybody's picture is kind of like sitting in the middle of my screen, and I need to get it out of the way. There we go. So here's a picture, kind of depicts what people are doing regarding, looking at the stage and getting ready to understand what it is they're looking at before they get to use it. Thumbs up sticker. Anybody got a better picture than that? I think it looks pretty good myself, but better pictures will be acceptable. The next slide here, which is slide 10, if you're making any comments, it says follow all equipment manufacturers' recommendations as well as local, provincial, state, and federal codes, ordinances, and regulations relating to adjustable suspended scaffold systems. So got the OSHA sticker, got a manual sticker here, gives you the thumbs up. Anybody got comments, send those off to Jim.
We've already got one comment. I've already noted it on the stickers. We'll respond to that at the end for the hoist tag sticker already. All
right, thank you. It says survey the site. A competent person shall survey the site, job site, for hazards such as exposed electrical wires, obstructions, and unguarded roof edges or openings. Thumbs up, picture. Everybody a minute to maybe make some comments on this particular one. All right, we'll get on to the next slide, 12. Inspect all equipment before each and every use. This is a close-up shot of a cracked weld. It says never use any equipment that is damaged or defective in any way. Mark it or tag it as damaged or defective and remove it from the job site. Got the thumbs down. Don't do this practice. We could also put the circle with the little line through it showing don't do this, but anybody got better pictures of that? It might take a minute to kind of understand what that is, but it's definitely a cracked weld. Next picture over here is erect and dismantle adjustable suspended scaffold equipment in accordance with the design and or manufacturer's recommendations. So this is once again a heads up. And if anybody has a better depiction of this, we'll take it. All right, next slide is slide 14. It says, do not erect, dismantle, or alter adjustable suspended scaffold systems except under the supervision of a competent person. So I kind of almost feel that guy should be wearing a shirt that says competent person on it, because we don't know he's a competent person by just looking at him. Next.
This one is a copyrighted unit, so we do need a substitute. No, go back, Harold.
Yeah.
Cartoon one. Next one.
That one?
Slide 15, Harold.
Oh, okay.
Right there. That's a copyrighted cartoon, so I do need one from someone. Anyone? That one there in slide 17, I do need to remove those pictures. Okay.
Okay, very good. It says, so this is slide 15. Do not abuse or misuse, and it should say an adjustable suspended scaffold and adjustable suspended scaffold equipment. Never overload any equipment. Right, so we need to change that. It shows me I thought it said a 4-to-1 safety factor. I like that.
It did.
All right.
So if we got one, there's a platform, there's a lot of steel on it or something like that. I mean, you guys see them, so if you can get them to them, that'd be great. Okay.
All right, the next slide says, never take chances. This is slide 17. If in doubt regarding the safety or use of adjustable suspended scaffolds, consult a qualified person. Again,
Copyrighted. We need a new one.
All right, shows the thumbs down. This is a chuckle for those of us who knows what we're looking at, but it says never use adjustable suspended scaffold equipment for purposes for which it was not intended. Obviously, that's a walk-through stirrup being used as a beam support, which is kind of very innovative, if anything, but not correct. Shows the thumb down. And once again, anybody got a better picture? We'd like to get it. So that's slide 18 for comments. The next one, this is the wind incident in Denver, and it says a competent person shall consider stopping work when wind speeds exceed 25 miles per hour for 2 points adjustable suspended scaffolds or 20 miles an hour for single point suspension. If materials on a platform create a sail effect, stopping work at a lower wind speed must be considered. And I think that is well put, well done, nice picture. Comments, that's slide 19. Not to be mixed up with COVID-19. All right, next slide is number 20, and it says adjustable suspended scaffold systems are to be installed and used in accordance with the manufacturer's recommended procedures.
So this particular job was given to us by one of our council members. They wrote a very good specification how to use this equipment to get to that apex. It was well documented, well trained, and well carried out beforehand. So that's why we selected this photo for this topic. If someone has another one, we'd be glad to substitute it.
All right, moving on, slide number 21. Adjustable suspended platforms must never be operated near live power lines unless proper precautions are taken. Contact the power service provider for advice. So I think we might be able to come up with better pictures on this one because I see a lot of trees and
Well, there actually was it was a job in upstate Maine where you can see the swing stage right next to the power lines.
Yep.
The power lines were 600 volt. They used a shower curtain to insulate the lines. And when we presented it to them, they basically said that the state of Maine's power company insulated, which we know that's not true. So yes, I could use a clearer picture here.
All right, moving on to slide 22. Always utilize fall arrest equipment when working on adjustable suspended scaffolds or when working near unguarded edges. So we need, I think, to add maybe a rooftop where we have an unguarded roof edge and maybe somebody standing there with fall protection on. And then also, this is pretty grainy picture, but it basically says what it needs to say. If we can get a better one, it would most likely be good too. And what's the way? I don't understand that. Never mind. All right. Next one is number 23. Do not work from, install, or move adjustable suspended scaffolds if you are sick or impaired in any way. And I know that's not an adjustable suspended scaffold, but the guy looks impaired. I'm sure we can go out and find a goofy looking guy on a swing stage, but let's see if we can maybe stage that picture. Number 23, comments. Anybody got a better shot there? Jim, no. Number 24, can't be me, too much hair, but do not work from, install, or move adjustable scaffolds when under the influence of alcohol or drugs. And I think that says it all. Number 25, debris should not be stored or allowed to accumulate on a scaffold. I think we need to come up with a better picture because that's older than I am, and that says a lot. That's an old Sky Climber ME4. They don't make those anymore, but if anybody has a better slide showing a lot of debris, that'd be absolutely fabulous. Slide 26. Independent adjustable suspended scaffolds are to be positioned so as to avoid overlapping or possible interference from other scaffolds.
So we have a Fracco unit there in the swing stage. They were locked out. There were limit switches, so the two of them couldn't collide. I'd like a better picture. It's basically a placeholder.
All right.
They were locked out, both of them.
And rightly so. Thank you, Jim. So anybody with better pictures, we'll take those. If you send pictures in, you might just want to reference them, slide 26, alternate pictures or something like that. So Jim and I
The more the better, too. The more the better.
The next slide is 27. It says guidelines for erection and use of adjustable suspended systems. This is just a headline. And we get into A, rigging. Utilize fall protection equipment when rigging near unguarded edges. That actually lines up with one we said a little earlier. So if anybody has a better slide, we will be glad to entertain substituting it. Number 29, supporting devices must be capable of supporting the rated load with a safety factor of 4. It's pretty elementary for us, but if anybody has a longer beam, maybe it looks pretty short, but that's okay. That's 29. Going on to number 30. All overhead rigging must be secured from unwanted movement in any direction. And that shows the tieback cable somewhat taut with a thumbs up, so that's good. I'm just going to lag in between each slide so that we can get the benefit of your comments.
I believe Wendy commented once, and the sticker, like I said, we haven't checked it on the it was done rather inexpensively. I would check for the weather. So those are the two comments we have so far.
Check for the weather, okay? So apart from comments, we are looking for better slides, and that's primary for this. Counterweights, this is slide 31. Counterweights used with outrigger beams must be of non-flowable material and must be secured to the beam to prevent accidental displacement. So there's a stop bolt on there. Shows the thumbs up on the left and the thumbs down on the right. All right, moving on to number 32. Outrigger beams that do not use counterweights must be installed and secured to the roof structure with bolts or other direct connections. Direct connections shall be evaluated by a competent person. I have a note on that, Jim, just to come back to this slide and to talk about it, just you and I, 32.
Okay. I got it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Slide 33 says tieback all transportable rigging devices. Tieback shall be equivalent in strength to the suspension rope. Okay, it shows a taut. Slide 34 says install tiebacks at right angles to the face of the building and secure them without slack to a suitable anchor capable of supporting the hoist rated load with a safety factor of 4. That's slide 34. So that is straight back. Slide number 35. In the event that tiebacks cannot be installed at right angles, 2 tiebacks at opposing angles must be used to prevent movement. What can we do to improve this installation is the question we put up there. All right, slide number 36. Rig and use hoisting machines directly under their suspension points to prevent movement or side loading. All right, shows everything plumb. That's slide 36. Slide 37 is the heading, wire rope, and hardware section. So slide number 38 basically is use only wire rope and attachments specified by the hoist manufacturer. Anybody got a better slide than that? Let us have it.
So this is going to be tight. Pretty upstairs, it's going to be tight. It's got to turn.
David, you need to mute yourself. Jackie, you need to mute everybody if you would, please. Thank you. All right. Use only wire ropes and attachments specified. We've done this one. Slide 38, going on to slide 39. Handle wire rope with care. Always use gloves. All right, that looks like somebody's in a workshop working on the rope. Slide 39. Slide number 40. Coil and uncoil wire rope in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions in order to avoid kinking or damage. Anybody got better pictures? Let us have them. I like the cartoon on the right. Jim, where'd you get that?
B-axis.
Nice. On slide 41, ensure that the wire rope is long enough to reach the lowest possible landing. Slide 41. Slide 42 says clean and lubricate wire rope in accordance with the in accordance with the wire rope manufacturer's instructions. All right, slide 43. It's a pretty nice, busy slide, but I think it says a lot. Inspect wire rope in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Do not use wire rope that is kinked, bird-caged, corroded, undersized, or damaged in any way. Do not expose wire rope to fire, undue heat, corrosive atmosphere, electricity, chemicals, or damage. I don't know how we expose wire rope to damage, but okay. That's slide 43. I think that's pretty good. Moving on to slide 44. Wire ropes used with traction hoist must have prepared ends. Follow the hoist manufacturer's recommendations. Slide 45. Use thimbles at all wire rope terminations. Next slide is slide 46. Use J-bolts, wire rope clamps, or swedges or swedged fittings. Do not use U-bolt clamps. Going on to slide 47. Tighten the J-bolt wire clamps in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. Now the title slide, power supply for equipment. Slide 49. Use properly grounded electrical power cords. Protect them with circuit breakers. Slide 49. The next slide is slide 50. Use power cords and air hoses of proper size that are long enough for the application. So this is actually showing a damaged one. So I think we could do with potentially a different slide, but let's see what we'll end up getting. Slide 50. All right, moving on to slide 51. Power cord and air hoist connections must be restrained to prevent separation. So we might encourage trying to get one with an air hose with the safety clips. Slide 51. Slide 52, use strain relief devices to attach power cords and air supply hoses to the platform to prevent them from separation. So that's pretty much the same as the one before, but different device. Moving on to slide 53. Protect power cords and air hoses from sharp edges. Anybody got better slides? Please let Jim know. All right, slide 54. Use ground fault circuit interrupter, GFCI, with proper tools. Sorry, with power tools. That one says it all, I think. All right, next slide is another heading, fall arrest equipment. Slide 56. Each person on an adjustable suspended scaffold must be attached to an independent fall arrest system. I think this is a slight overkill. Slide 56. Slide 57, each vertical lifeline shall be attached in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions to a separate anchorage capable of supporting a minimum of 5,000 pounds, 2,260 kilograms, or an anchorage designed by a qualified person. Slide 57. Moving on to slide 58. Do not wrap lifelines around structural members unless lifelines are protected and a suitable anchor connection is used. All right, that's slide number 58. Slide number 59, protect lifelines at sharp corners and edges to prevent chafing. I like the pin left up on the parapet wall here, Jim. It looks like somebody could knock that over the wall, but you might want to change that. All right, slide number 60. Slide number 60, rig fall arrest systems to minimize free fall. Pretty good slide. That's not a copyright slide, is it, Jim?
No, I believe I got that from one of the manuals. We could change it if somebody has a question or anything. We can change anything. That's why this is a draft. This is the purpose, to get this thing done so we can clean it up, finish it, and submit it. I'm watching the comments that come through. I understand we'll go through all of them, so I'll probably be reaching out to you at the end of this.
All right, slide number 60 is 61. Install vertical lifelines so they hang freely. Number 62. Use lifelines that are compatible with the rope grab. Slide 63, install rope grabs in accordance with the manufacturer's recommendations. Slide 64, keep rope grab positioned above your head. All right, that's slide 64. Slide 65, utilize full body harness of proper size and fit. Slide 65. Slide 66, utilize shock absorbing lanyards attached to the D-ring at the center of the back between the shoulder blades. All right, slide 66. Slide 67, inspect fall protection anchorage / equipment before each use. Consult the fall protection supplier for inspection procedures. Slide 68, when a secondary wire rope system is used instead of a vertical lifeline, attach the lanyard to a horizontal lifeline or an approved platform anchor. All right, that's slide 68. The next one is a title slide in during use. Slide 70. Use all equipment and devices in accordance with manufacturer's instructions. Now that's a parapet clamp on its side. That's slide 70. Thumbs down. Slide 71. Do not overload or modify equipment. Slide 71. Slide 72. Inspect all equipment, including hoists, platform, and rigging before each use. All right, moving on to slide 73. Inspect wire rope during and before use. Sorry, I read that all backwards, didn't I? Inspect wire rope before and during use. Didn't sound right to me. I was looking at the picture and that's a good picture, thank you. Slide 74, use care to prevent damage to equipment.
So what happened in this, so you know, the boom lift you see up above, the knuckle broke and it dropped a load of sheetrock that they were loading in the window. Luckily, there was nobody on that swing stage at the time.
Oh my gosh. All right, slide number 75. Clean and service equipment regularly. Follow manufacturer's recommendations. Slide 76, always maintain at least 4 wraps of wire rope on drum type hoists. Number 77, do not connect platforms unless the installation is designed for that purpose. All right, slide number 78. Do not move adjustable suspended scaffolds horizontally unless safe work practices are followed. Moving on to slide 79. When rigging for another drop, assure sufficient wire rope is available before moving the suspended platform horizontally to the next location. All right, title slide, welding from suspended scaffolds requires special training. Assure, this is slide number 81, assure platform is grounded to the structure using a ground conductor. Moving on to slide 82, insulate wire rope above and below the platform. That's a nice B submittal.
This whole section came from the SAIA magazine article that B-Access provided several years ago. It's one of the best articles I've ever read. So B was very accommodating. He gave us a lot of these pictures for this.
All right, now slide number 83, insulate wire rope at suspension point and assure wire rope does not contact the structure along its entire length. Slide 83. Slide 84, prevent the wire rope from becoming grounded. Slide 85, insulate each hoist with a protective cover. Slide number 86, insulate tieback wire ropes at the connection points. Sorry, insulate tieback ropes. I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at that, at the connection points. Number 87, since field conditions vary and are beyond the control of the SSFI and the SAIA, safe and proper use of adjustable scaffolding is the sole responsibility of the user.
Okay, so Harold, obviously when this goes to publication or the final checkoff, this would be put in there, including the SIA disclaimer, because on the bottom of the essay, the Code of Safe Practices, I just put the X's there because it's on there. This is a work in progress. As we said, I see 21 chats. I appreciate it. I've tried to stay ahead of them, but there seems to be a time lag between the picture and that. So we probably have to ask us to email them or hold the questions to the end. This is a working session, so I'm really happy that people commented. It shows that, you know, you're really interested in this here. So the main thing we're trying to get across is that the pictures are trying to tell something. you know, it's safety first and forget about the politics, whatever. But let's try to go through this here, and whatever pictures you need to change, I'll be more than glad to, me and Harold. Okay.
And once again, once this is all put together, it's going to be available on the web, so people can download them, print them, or do whatever they want with them. But it was just.
I also want to comment. There's the text is the text. There may be some spelling errors. I see them myself. As you read it 60 times, you always miss it. But that's the idea of a draft and a review. But the other thing is we can't really change much of the code of safe practices because it took years to finalize them and to get them published. So we're following what the code says. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I saw a couple of comments in there, which would, if we could, I'd be glad to, but we have to kind of follow what the codes are here. But we need your comments. All right, Harold, you got it more on the next couple? That's it for the code of safe practices.
So it actually still mentions the SSFI, just so everybody knows the SSFI is now part of the SAIA. So I don't know if the recognition is going to remain there or not, but currently it's still there, and we'll let the oversight people decide what to do with it. All right, so special thanks to the people who provided all this. Jim, I'm going to take this slide away from you because you did a hell of a lot of work on this. So I want to thank you as well for all the time and the effort you put in putting everything together, to American Scaffolds, B-Access, and Brand, Safeway for supplying the pictures, anybody else who wants to contribute towards all this. Obviously, it's a work in progress. There's some slides that could be done better, and we would appreciate you sending them in to Jim and or to Jackie, and then she can get them over to Jim. And then also Jim will look at the comments. We have 2 hours of session, and we're coming up on 1 hour. We still have a little bit left to do. I don't know, Jim, if you want to handle any of the comments you saw, share them with everybody or not?
Well, like I said, Harold, because the pictures with what I saw in the chat, the comments were coming through by the time we were two or three ahead of them. So maybe we can open up the mics, and is that a possibility? And one at a time go through them. I mean, it's a work format. Okay.
What you might want to do, Jim, is if Jim Holcomb had a comment, you might call on him, and then Jackie can unmute him, and he can make his comment, and then we can make him go quiet because he's only president for another few months, and then go on to the next person, volunteer, etc. So that might be a good way to address all the comments.
We can do that.
Oops.
Okay, so again, we're looking for the pictures, so that's fine. Next one, Harold. Okay, last year, we did a presentation at the SIA, the council. We had Sky Climber come in. Mark did a great job on wire rope. The people that left there thought it was really good. A lot of people have been in there for this business for years, and we all learned something. So we know some people missed it because there were other things going on. So we're wondering, putting it out to the council for those that missed it or would like to see it again. Harold's got a good connection there. Maybe we can talk into future classes or webinars or WebExes or something. I learned something. I mean, there were guys there that they got 20 years on me, and they learned something in that class. So it was something.
So Mark is on the line.
Okay.
I don't know if you're not visible, Mark, but I believe you are online. And what we were hoping is that maybe we could do this again because we felt you put a lot of effort. It was a fabulous program, as Jim said. He learned a lot from it, and there were a lot of people that weren't in that session, so they missed it. And we felt that it would be befitting, if you will, to do that program again, possibly on visual stuff as a webinar or something of that nature. So I don't know if you can hear us, Mark, but if you can respond, maybe Jackie can unmute you and you can respond, putting you on the spot. Are we able to contact Mark?
Who would you like for me to unmute?
Mark Wigginton.
I think he can unmute himself. There he is.
Mark? Well, okay, I'll talk on Mark's behalf. Mark says he'd do it. He'd be glad to do it. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, so that's a check. We can get with them and try to figure something out. The other thing, because we normally talk about presentations and all that, there is the Hard Rock Cafe Hotel. They did a lot of swing stage work on this with Scaff Truck, Edward Rodriguez, and B Access. Yeah, I mean, when you look at this job, it's really a unique job, and we thought maybe, I know they did the article in the SIA magazine, but maybe a brief how I did it and some of the problems type thing. Again, it's out to the council, suggestions and all that comments. So, you know, we're here to help you guys with whatever you need.
All right.
And the final thing is, unfortunately, there's a slide missing. We had some technical difficulties. I will kind of put it up there. I know you're not going to see much. When I told you about the resource tab, what came out of this was interesting. When I got the calls for the checklist, I told them where the resource tab is. A lot of members didn't know where the resource tab was. On the resource tab, I asked the SIA, SAIA, if there was ever a data showing, you know, the different tabs, and there is graphical things about how many times it gets hit. The construction hoist gets hit the most for information, but on the swing stage, there were 199 views in the year from 219 to 220, 158 unique views, which basically breaks down to how many times they come back in and general information. But that resource tab is on all the products, power swing, mast climbers, hoist climbers. Tom has a question here. Tom, you want to chime in? Can you unmute yourself? Let's see if I can get this thing here to work.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay, yeah, on the Hard Rock Casino, we can elaborate on some of the platform rigging challenges that were on that job. You know, it's a combination of temporary and permanent equipment that was put on there, so we can elaborate mostly on the temporary side and tell everybody how that was done, how each side, front, back, you know, how it was all done and rigged and accessed temporarily to get this thing in construction. It was a 2.5-year project.
Okay. So you'd be interested in doing a verbal one at some time in the future there, Tom?
Yeah, we can look at that.
Would that be great? Because it's a fantastic job. I mean, you look at this and you go, wow, that's something. Okay.
Yeah, and the article was was a nice article that they wrote, but it doesn't really go into the detail on the suspended side. And since this is suspended council, we can elaborate a little more on that part of it.
Right, because when you're doing an article, as you know, they have to edit it. Certain things get put in, certain things get taken out. This is true grit, if you want to call it that, in my mind. Okay. Thank you, Tom.
We also have a drone video that was made, which we put on our YouTube channel at BX.
It's on YouTube. I've seen it.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Interested. Yeah, so it'll be a nice little presentation. It shouldn't take too long.
Okay. Okay. Harold, you got the next one there? Or?
Yep.
Oh, you're going the wrong way, buddy.
Yep. All right,
Okay,
those
so
are the questions.
that's where we are.
So we still got some time. Do you want to address the questions that came up? Any of the ones that jump out at you, Jim, if you can review them? Or do we want to just ask people that ask questions to put their hand up and we will let them?
I think that might be the best, Harold, because it's kind of, well, like I said, the way the internet's working, it's the picture and the text were broken. So I don't want to miss anything. Like Nicole, she's got the drone picture. She just sent me that. That's excellent. Tom's just came back through a couple of minutes ago again. So do you want to open it up, Harold, to?
Yeah, Jackie, if you would, I can't see everybody's screen at once. I don't know why, but somehow 56 people, most likely quite a lot. But if you want, go ahead, Jackie.
If you stop doing your screen share,
Aha.
It should put everybody up on the screen again.
Thank you.
I believe everyone has the capability to unmute themselves. If we do, it might work better if people use the raise hand option, and then Jim and Harold can call on you, and then you unmute yourself and then speak. Does that sound okay?
That's good. Harold, if you can ask them, and then I'll record their request. Will that work?
So I'm not, there's 66 people on this call, and I'm basically seeing 10, 21 of them. And even if I go to the next screen, I'm thinking we have a lot of people that are not visible, that didn't use their video buttons or are calling from phones. So
Since I'm the host, I'll receive notification when someone raises their hand. So if you would like for me to call on them, I'd be more than happy to do that.
yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Jackie.
I would greatly
Thank you, Jackie.
appreciate that. So so if you go in there, you want to raise your hand, then Jackie will be able to call on you to give us some comments. As I said, we do have another hour left of our program. If we can have comments or some chat, and then somebody needs to take notes.
I'll take notes here, Harold.
And if we're recording this, then we'll be able to go back through them. So anybody want to raise their hands? Come on, Alan Klein, are you on this call? Here you are, Alan. You always have something to say. Come on.
I'm not seeing anybody so far, but I also
Okay,
want to
Brian-
mention,
Brian
Brian, you want
Andrews?
to? Okay.
Brian Andrews.
Harold, and I unmute myself. On some of the slides, you might want to just plain stage them. If you can't find them directly. And you also might want to consider inviting some of the smaller manufacturers to help you out, like Hilo.
Be glad.
Thank you.
Yep.
Brian Andrews, you had your hand up? You're now muted.
Yeah. Can you go back to slide 30?
Are you serious?
I'm sorry. We went through and it looked like the tieback on that just didn't look right.
Okay, I will proceed to line this up again.
Hold on,
Sorry.
Harold. Hold on.
Eddie,
Hold on.
you're not asking a lot, but we're doing it. My screen share is not up. So,
Okay, slide 30.
Yeah, just kind of look at it and make sure it looks.
Well, we have a shackle back of an aluminum beam. Shackle pin is down instead of up. We got 3 fist grips. Remember, that frame is approximately 4 feet in height, 4.5 feet in height, so you can have an angle. What did you see that was?
Didn't it have like a weldment that was over a pin, and then the tieback was coming straight backwards out of the beam? It was like a round tube, or not a round tube, a rectangular tube.
That's one manufacturer's beam. There's a steel rod that runs through there. There's a steel collar in there.
Okay.
I don't know if you can get it or not.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
getting
I wanted to make sure because it went. I just saw it right at the end, and I just wanted to make sure it wasn't.
Sure.
You know, it was okay.
That's what we're all doing here. So let's get it right. So
slide 30 was that?
30.
Slide
says.
30. Yep.
All overhead rigging. Right there.
Jim, all my other comments to you are just editorial or other stuff. So
Please, and I'll get, send me an email if you could, and I'll be glad to change it. Like I said, you see this thing 20 times, you kind of.
Oh, yeah. yeah, as long as the manufacturer's okay with that, it just looks a little funky to me.
So it is. Anybody else want me to look at a slide before I stop the slide share?
We have 2 more people that have raised their hand. Tracy is next. Tracy, if you want to unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Okay, mine was on slide 19. I was trying to wait to the end. I didn't know that we probably should try to do it when we were on slide 19. You say to measure the wind speed. I just wanted to say, should we tell them to measure this wind speed at the top of the building? Because the wind speed could vary a lot compared to the top and bottom of that building.
So this is the Codes of Safe Practices we can do whatever we want on this. If there are comments, as long as we don't get the slides to be too much wordy, because we're trying to get away from the words to the pictures, we'll take any of those comments into advisement. Yes.
Okay, that was my only
Thank
comment.
you.
Tom DeJong is next.
Yeah, hi guys. Jim, I have more pictures for you that
Okay, great.
I can submit. Where can we get the draft, the access to the draft of this?
I can send this to you, Tom. As long as
Okay.
it stays internal, that's fine. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jackie, I can send this and we can open it up to other people to work on it, correct?
Yeah, that's part of
Okay,
your
just wanna
committee.
be
So
sure.
if you want to get some council members together and
Right.
work on this together, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, just want to be sure. We just don't want a draft floating out there in the public until it's done and reviewed.
Okay, and lastly, have we thought about September? Are we doing convention as normal? Are we making adjustments, or how do we cope with this new situation? Are we going to have a live convention where everybody sits 6 foot apart, or have we thought about that?
Tom, we are having some internal discussions about that. Right now, we're just going to move along business as usual, and we'll definitely keep everyone posted as more unfolds. But right now, we are planning on having the convention in September. Registration is open. We are going to send out a formal announcement on Monday, but if you would like to wait to register as we get further down the road, we fully understand that as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anybody else? No?
So generally, do you still like the idea? Let's just, does the idea follow a format that you think is worth continuing to develop this? You can see we're pretty close at this point. Okay. Overall consensus is yes. Okay, great.
So, by the way, Tom DeYoung, you're not visible. Does anybody else see Tom? Because I show him as his camera's off. You're on an iPad too, by the way. But I don't see.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. Yeah, I thought I was on live. but
You're
maybe
talking,
not.
but we don't see you. And I'm just. I think one of the things we might want to do is to let people know that if you don't hit the video part, your audio is up, but your visual isn't. The bottom left-hand side of your screen, you have an audio or a mute, a microphone, and then you have a camera with a video next to it. And if you don't turn that on, you're just audible. So, I mean, I'm looking through here. David Johnson, your mic's off, but I can see you. Deanna Martin, I don't see you. Wendy Larison, we don't see you, and just etc. So just so everybody knows.
There's no pressure to turn your video on though if you don't want to.
Well, especially if you're sitting at home, like unshaven and all that good stuff. But no, at the end of the day, I don't know if Tom, you wanted to be off visible or not, but
No, it's not intentional. I guess I'm not well versed in this right now.
Well, that's why I was just making a statement that we might want to send something out, Jackie, just so people become more familiar with the Zoom.
So one of the comments we did have, Harold, was about the sticker, and I think it was the hoist sticker. One of the questions was about it being used outside. I didn't test this. I bought them kind of on the cheap side. Obviously, I didn't want to spend a lot of money on stickers to be used outside right now. It's if it wasn't going to be used. But the question is, I'll put out to the council, is that something you think that's going to be worthwhile pursuing as well?
Well, I think that's a great idea anyway. I think we need more.
All right, so I'll in Phoenix, I'll have some final things. I'll give them out, and then we can go from there.
Now
All
we
right,
can
Harold,
Tom
can you see me
DeYoung.
now?
Yay.
There he is.
Hey, you like
Look at
that?
that. Look at that background.
All right, that's better.
Look at the background.
All right, so basically that is all for right now. We normally do our request for articles or anything that anybody can send in for the magazine, any exciting programs working out there that you feel would be of interest, any near misses, accidents, anything that we should all share. We had a dump truck decide to get tangled up with a wire rope the other day. The area was barricaded off below the building where the stage was hanging. The dump truck guys came along to pick up their dump, their vessel or whatever, and the container, they took the barricade down, they drove the truck in there, they loaded up the dumpster, got the tires caught up in our wire rope and backed off the job site, taking the swing stage down the side of the building. Nobody got hurt. Somebody, luckily enough, was screaming loud enough for the dump truck guy to stop. And it was a near miss because they would have ripped that swing stage off the building. So kind of concerned in that matter, and everything was barricaded off, but dump truck driver decided the barricade was not for him. So things like this are kind of, I think we need to share with everybody so that we can all benefit from the experiences or misfortunes of others. So when we get to Phoenix, by the time we get to Phoenix, I think there's a theme song about that, and we do get there. We'll be having to come up with a program. So we have some ideas also about what we want to do. Jim and I were working on. So anybody has ideas, please let us know for that. And basically, unless there's anything else, I think that's it. Hit a schedule way before.
I'm going through some of the notes here, John, Harold. What I'll do is I'll reach out to them. I'll send emails to these people just to be clarified, just to be sure what their comments are, what they're asking. Sean, I see you got a couple in here, pal. Go. I'm not missing you. Sean Beekman, I see him. All your names are down here. I'll reach out to you to make it. Brian, again, we'll talk. Wendy, if I missed your name, just let me know. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Ooh, SIA's got a long one. Tracy, so, okay. So we'll get through these here. And like I said, we'll answer each one of these. We'll get through them. Okay. Anything else, Harold?
No, I don't think so. Unless anybody has any comments, we'll just stay safe. And as I believe, a life choice is to stay 6 feet away from people so you don't land up being 6 feet under them. That's my new saying. Enjoy. Good to see everybody. Thanks for sharing with us.
Harold,
Bye.
Thank you, Harold and Jim. Want to remind everybody that to use the discussion board and to post photos on the app, on the Hoover app. I hope that's the way you pronounce it, Jackie. Please use that thing. She's driving me nuts about it, and I'm technically challenged, so I'm having a hard time with it. Also want to reach out again, thank our sponsors, Layer, our mobile app sponsor, and Step Up, our diamond sponsor. Our next session will be from 3 to 5. This is Central Time. So remember that, and it'll be supported scaffolding. Until then, enjoy your afternoon, and I'll see you in a little bit.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you. Stay safe, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
141 days till Christmas.